Welcome students for the third lecture on standard deviation. It is the part 3 for standard deviation. In first two parts we have studied standard deviation, its calculation for different types of representation of data, individual series as well as ungrouped frequency distribution. Now the third one which we have is group frequency distribution. I have one sum in front of us. It is marks obtained by students in an examination are given in class interval form, range form, and frequency, number of students getting these marks in this range is given to us. Now our job is to find out how much is the deviation in marks obtained by students, how much is the variation in their marks. So let us calculate. For that we have the first basic formula. Standard deviation is equal to square root summation fi xi square upon capital N minus summation fi xi upon capital N bracket square. We have learned this for previous method. The same we can use it here for class interval data or group frequency distribution. Now what is the requirement here? As you are aware, I need capital N, that is total of all frequencies, number of students. How many? If I add, I get total as 60. Now I need these two values in the formula, that is summation of fi xi, total of this product fi into xi, and total of this product fi xi square, that is fi into xi. So I will prepare these two columns, and for that I need xi values. As we have class interval giving us variable values, let us calculate their mid values as xi. So if I calculate mid values, I get these as mid values 5, 15, 25 likewise. So frequency, that is number of students, into mid value, that is xi, I get fi xi column values, that is 3 into 5 is 15, 7 into 15 is 105 likewise. I need total for this because it is required here. If we can check the formula, then I need fi xi square, that is fi into xi. Square is of x term, not of f. So I will have to multiply x twice to fi. So instead of going for a new calculation, let us make use of what we have done already. Fi xi, multiply this by xi, you get fi xi square here. So I will be multiplying 15 into 5, 105 into 15, 275 into 25 to get these values. Again I need total for this column because it is required here, total of fi xi square. Okay, so once we get these values, let us substitute them in the formula. Again my same point, first write the formula and then substitute values to avoid error or confusion. So my formula is square root summation fi xi square upon capital N minus summation fi xi upon capital N bracket square. So summation fi xi square is 92,300, which is obtained here, divided by capital N, that is 60, minus summation fi xi, that is 2160, I have substituted here, divided by capital N 60. Its square is required. So if I use BODMAS to solve this, I get answer of standard deviation as 15.57, and if I square it, I get variance as 242.33. Both these values are approximated values up to 2 decimal places. So I will repeat what we have done. We have first calculated mid values of these class intervals, then we have multiplied frequencies with these mid values, that is fi xi. Then we have multiplied this fi xi by xi again to get fi xi square. We need total for these two columns and capital N. We have used this formula for standard deviation, square root summation fi xi square upon capital N minus the bracket, square of the bracket, that is summation fi xi upon capital N bracket square. Substitute values, get the answer. Now here your question and solution is over. Now as we are discussing the same point every lecture, that you will get multiple ways to calculate the same answer, to get the same solution. Now is it the only formula? No. Again, this is the first formula that we can have. Now we can have a step deviation formula, deviation taken from assumed mean, that is this formula I am talking about. Formula is standard deviation is equal to h, that is width of the class interval, into square root summation fi di square upon capital N minus summation fi di upon capital N bracket square. Here we are making use of width of the class interval and we will be solving this sum. So let us try to understand how this formula works. Now, what is the definition of DI? Formula for DI? DI is deviation taken from assumed mean. A is called as assumed mean. DI is equal to xi minus A upon h. Each x value minus the assumed mean that we assume as mean divided by width of the class interval. This way we get values. So let us have the sum for it. Let us have a new sum. Let us say wages earned by workers in a factory are given and number of workers earning wages in that range is given. So grouped frequency distribution is given to us. Now first job will be to find out xi values, mid values of class intervals, calculate the total of all frequencies, that is number of employees or workers. Now width of the class interval is upper limit minus lower limit 10. So we have identified these values. Now job is to get DI. Now DI is xi minus A upon h. Each x value minus the A value, that is assumed mean, divided by h, width of the class interval. Now how to get A? How to identify A, that is assumed mean? Now any value of the variable, that is mid value, can serve the purpose of A, but thumb rule says use the central value of xi, that is mid value, to get or to use as xi, use as A, that is assumed mean. Now if you go and check, there are even number of values, so you will never get single value at the center. Instead you will get two values. In such case you can use any one of these two as A, assumed mean. If I check, 25 and 35 are at the center, so you may use 25 or 35, any one, depending upon your selection of A, that is 25 or 35. Your remaining calculation values will differ, but the final answer will remain the same. I have selected 25 as A. Now each x value minus A upon h. So my first x value is 5. So 5 minus 25 divided by h, that is 10. So 5 minus 25 is minus 20 divided by 10. I get minus 2. So 15 minus 25 by 10 is minus 1. Then 0, 1, 2, 3. In this way we get DI values. I repeat, xi minus A upon h is the formula which I have written here. So each x value minus the assumed mean, that is 25, which I have highlighted here, divided by h, that is width of the class interval. So 5 minus 25 by 10 is minus 2. 15 minus 25 by 10 is minus 1. 25 minus 25 by 10 is 0. 35 minus 25 by 10 is 1. 45 minus 25 by 10 is 2. And then the last value. In this way, once we calculate DI, then check the formula. Again, like previous formula, here we required FIDI and FIDI square, total of these two. So I will prepare these two columns, FIDI and FIDI square. So FIDI, how to calculate? Second column is FI and DI is fourth column. So frequency into DI, deviation value. 3 into minus 2 is minus 6. Don't get worried about negative signs. 7 into minus 1 is minus 7. In this way you multiply frequency into DI to get FIDI. You need total for it. Then FIDI square. Again, like previous sum, we have FIDI, we need FIDI square. So multiply FIDI again by DI, you get FIDI square, because square is of D term only, not of F. So it is FIDI square, means FI into DI into DI. So FIDI is already with us, so we'll save our time. FIDI into DI. So minus 6 into minus 2 becomes positive 12. Then minus 7 into minus 1, 7, 0, 12, 32, 45. We need total for it. Total is calculated. Now we have got all values which are required for calculation of standard deviation by step deviation formula. Now I have written the formula for you. Standard deviation is equal to, that is sigma is equal to h, that is width of the class interval, into square root summation FIDI square upon capital N minus inside bracket FIDI upon N, capital N, bracket square. So let us substitute values one by one. I know h is 10, width of the class interval, square root FIDI square is here 108 divided by capital N, 50, number of total of all frequencies, number of workers, minus summation FIDI, that is 32 divided by capital N, 50, bracket square. So divide, square this bracket, divide, then have subtraction, take square root. Don't forget to take square root. Common mistake that students do is they forget to take square root, and at the end they land in a wrong answer. So to avoid that, don't forget to take square root, then multiply by 10, you get this answer as 13.2. If you square it, you get variance as 174.24. So I will repeat it, how we have solved it by second method. Second method is step deviation method, where we are taking deviation from assumed mean A, that is central value of the variable, that is or mid value. Any one value which is at the center can be treated as A. If there are odd number of values, you can have one value at the center, exactly one. If there are even number of values, you will get two values at the center, which is the case here. So any one of these two can be used as A, assumed mean. So I have calculated xi, that is mid values of all these class intervals. F is frequency, its total is 50. H, width of the class interval, is 10. And F, di is equal to xi minus A upon h. So each x value minus the assumed mean divided by 10. So if I calculate, I get di values, then fi di, frequency into di, I get these values with total. Then fi di square, that is fi into di, please pay attention. So fi di is already with us, multiplied by di again. So I get these fi di square values and with total. So this completes a table. Now substitute values to get the answer. And remember to pay attention towards square root sign before getting the answer. Now I have explained you two different ways to calculate standard deviation if you have a class interval distribution, that is grouped frequency distribution. Data is given in class interval format. Now in this case you have two options. Any one formula you may use, either this first one or the step deviation formula. Both can be used in such case when you have a data representation in class interval form. Somebody may find the first formula useful, somebody may find the second formula useful. First formula may give you answer which may be suitable for you, the process and the length of the answer. Second formula gives you small values. If you pay attention in the calculation, you have small values. Somebody may find this method easy to understand. It is your choice. Any one method you may use. As we are learning right now for the first time, it is our job to learn both methods. So we'll be solving both sums by both methods. So you are supposed to solve these two sums by both methods. So you may write down the answer, and I have given you a few sums because of the space problem. I have written sums here. The third sum, age and frequency, that is number of people, I have given here. Pay attention. Age 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 60, like up to 80 to 90. And frequency is given. You are supposed to find out standard deviation for this data. This is third sum. Fourth sum is here, number of accidents per day. 0 to 5, 5 to 10, likewise up to 35 to 40. And number of days that we are able to see these many accidents is frequency given. So find out standard deviation for this data as well. Now fifth sum is also given. If you can pay attention, daily expenses made by students on some, let's say on chocolates. So 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, likewise 40 to 50. Number of students are given for each data. This is 7. So you can calculate standard deviation for these three sums. If you can pay attention towards the bottom of the table, you will find that I have given reference answers for you. For question number 3, 4 and 5, standard deviation, variance, both the values, reference answers are available for you. You can check the answer with these answers. And if you have any query, you may contact me for verifying your answer or clarifying your doubts. Thank you very much for attending this third part of standard deviation. Next part, we will be focusing on combined standard deviation, a new topic for standard deviation, that is combined standard deviation. So please subscribe my channel, like all these videos so that you will be able to you will be informed for new video. Thank you.